Just bear with us. Is it going live? No.
And I also don't have even the settings, the option to.
Oh, don't worry. I think what we'll do is we'll just get started. And so I'd just like to welcome you guys. Thanks for joining us today. If we can't go live, we will be putting a recording into the group, so you will have access to it there. It's just a shame we can't go live simultaneously. It's just one of those things with Zoom. So thank you again for joining us. I'm really pleased to welcome with us today Anna Hart, and I invited Anna on here because we've got people joining the meeting. Because she specialises in helping parents who have highly sensitive children. And we are in this time where we do believe we have these special children coming through to us, and they do very much fall into that category of highly sensitive. What we really want to do is make sure we understand their needs and, make sure they're well nourished in a way that they can reach their full potential. And part of this group working, with families, especially people, you're trying to get away from the education system because you're seeing that your children are being molded in such a way, and there's this indoctrination going on that feels somewhat sinister now that we can see below the surface of what's going on. Not that the teachers have any mal intentions, but it's just how it's all been set up to create like these little carbon copy workers to go out into the workforce. And in particular for these children, for the highly sensitive ones, I've definitely got one. I've got another who I regard more of a rainbow child because he's very happy-go-lucky. They are coming through. There's various theories of why these children are coming through at a certain time. And it seems really important right now that we have to nurture them in the right way. So Anna, I'm really, really grateful you've come on here to talk with us today. Do you just want to give us a little bit of your background so we know, where you're coming from, and then we'll talk a little bit deeper about what's going on in the world and, how we can support these children.
Karen, thank you very much for this invitation. So I am a psychologist, speech therapist, and psycholinguist. Originally, I'm from Moscow, from Russia, but now we are living with the family in the UK. And I'm the same story. I started specializing in highly sensitive kids because one of my kids is highly sensitive, definitely. And, Sophia, the youngest one, I think also she is, but in a very different sense, because high sensitivity, this speciality, high sensitivity, it's not something, it's not syndrome, it's not a diagnosis, it's norm. These kids are absolutely normal. Their temperament is on the border because they very quickly come to the peak of emotion. So very often tantrums appear, very extreme emotions. But this happens not because they're autistic or not because they have attention deficit, but it's just because their nerve system becomes overwhelmed very quickly, quicker than others. They absorb or acquire so many details from the surrounding, from the environment, so that, it starts in early childhood. It starts with sensory, let's say,
Right, we've just gone live, I think. Sorry. Carry
Yes, got it. Wonderful. So it starts with sensory development when newborns or in early stages of development, kids, they are too sensitive for sounds, for tastes, for smells, for audio or visual information that they get. Then later, in later development, they become all this sensory experience, they give them so much just wonderful basement for very high development of emotional intelligence, of empathy. Such kids, they are very empathic. What is empathy? Empathy, it's a very important quality of our human nerve system when we, understanding ourselves, can understand others and not only human beings. So we can understand what's going on. Of course, considering that we are all its own universes, we cannot 100% understand each other, but still we, on verbal or non-verbal signals, we can communicate. So these kids later in life, if we give them, we let them to thrive, to flourish, then they become wonderful negotiators. They become wonderful diplomats. Maybe they won't become leaders, strong, bossy leaders, but they're wonderful lovers. They give a lot of their heart to this life. These kids are very rich-hearted, I would say, if we let them be, because very often we don't understand why they don't sleep, why they don't eat what we offer them, why they don't want to dress when we need to go out, they don't want to take off clothes when we need to sleep. It's very difficult to, on the early stages, it's very difficult to understand what's going on. Why others sleep at this time, you don't. Others like this, you don't. Why always tears? Every cartoon or any book, tears. Why? But if we understand this why, then we, statistics says that 20% of population, human population, but actually not only human, again, not only human, cats or horses, they also can be highly sensitive. 20% of human population is highly sensitive. It's quite a lot. Every fifth person, it's a lot. It's not 2%. It's not 0.2. It's 20. So this percent gives us, ensures us that we need such people. They are minority. We don't understand them, but population needs them for surviving. And especially I think nowadays, now we just our interesting time we live in. We need them so much, like never before. Well, it's difficult to say. I think Ramses the second would say the same. But honestly, now we need rich-hearted people who will give us a hope, a chance to what's the English word, to rule or to control very developed artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, it's also creation of human beings, but and it's wonderful. It's wonderful that they help us, I don't know, eye surgery, in economics, to compare huge data tables. It's wonderful that we have well, internet, a lot of algorithms. It's already incorporated in our life nowadays. But there is definite risk that very soon we will become what's the word?
Human,
Like
transhuman, is that?
like they will control us.
Yes, yeah.
Why I say they? It will control us. So what I want to say, it's so important to understand high sensitivity, that because these people, they know what is heritage of human heart. They develop, if we let them to develop. In our school system, it's almost impossible. In every country, all educational systems are very left hemisphered. So if we let them to develop their right hemisphere and their talents of their heart, and don't just cut all their initiatives or all their emotions, if we let them be, then they will be competitors with artificial intelligence. It's honestly speaking.
So they're really like the antithesis, aren't they, of this AI, which really seems to be the driving force, you know, that's coming up behind us at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think, you know, I mean, I think probably on this call, we've probably got adults who have grown up being artificial, no, highly sensitive. I know I certainly was as a child. And, you know, that what I think what you're describing is that as a small child, you get this real sense of overwhelm and information that, you know, we've probably become more tempered as we've got older, but even light, you know, light can seem brighter, sound seems louder, you know, tastes are more intense.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so they've got all of that going on, and you know, but we, you know, as adults, we want to let our children spread their wings and fly, but they can show us a side that feels really frustrating, I think, you know. And I think it's fair to say that as parents, we face these frustrations, you know, like you're saying, they don't want to do the thing you want them to do, or eat the thing you want them to eat, or whatever it might be. You know, have you got any techniques on, you know, just helping parents manage that better, or you know, work with their children more?
I do, and I'm happy to share this. You know what I wanted? I will tell some more about techniques, but what I want to say, that when I say that it's not diagnosis, it's not a syndrome, it's norm, it means that this structure of nerve system, it doesn't go away with the age. And it's not that quality that you know grow through. You become less sensitive. It doesn't happen. If you are sensitive, you are sensitive. You can build very strong defense system. If your parents didn't, let's say, meet your requirements, didn't accept your emotions, then it's very possible that you developed reactions that look for the society more normal, but it doesn't mean that you are inside less sensitive. And it's a paradox, can look like a paradox, but highly sensitive children, highly sensitive adults, sometimes they are more, not cruel, but colder than, they look colder than others, frozen, with frozen reactions, because they just know that their inner world is not comprehensive.
Yeah.
So this is important thing. But it's very important what you said, that maybe at that time when we were in our childhood, we didn't have tests, let's say, how to test if your child is highly sensitive or not. Now we have all these tests, and if let me talk about techniques, and then I will continue my ideas. So techniques, I made a test, like it's not my test. I made this test based on the wonderful book that I recommend to, honestly, to all parents, not only to the parents of highly sensitive kids. The author is Elaine Aron, and the name is The Highly Sensitive Child. The book is wonderful. I will give this link to this book maybe in the comments. If we have recording in Facebook, then I will write this book. It's just brilliant author, brilliant, very highly sensitive author. She describes very deeply, and so I can offer in a very convenient form. It's called like chatbot. This test you can pass it. You can test yourself and your child, and also in the UK I was studying in the Theraplay Institute, and I'm very happy to share this knowledge about games. Well, they are called Theraplay games. I call them like hard games. They are coming from the heart. So they are based on the attachment theory. John Bowlby, another English genius author, John Bowlby, he was the psychiatric. He was also pedagogue. He worked with thousands, hundreds of thousands orphans after Second World War. So attachment theory is one of the results of that great war. We cannot, honestly, it's a crime to not to accept what is confirmed by that theory, even though a lot of psychologists still are in, let's say, in the stream of behaviorism. It's the theory that was before the attachment theory. So Theraplay games. Also, I like games and all techniques, methods to develop right hemisphere. And I use such Japanese method. It's called Shichida method. Makoto Shichida. He died recently. He's well, almost our contemporary researcher. He confirmed, it's not just his imagination, he confirmed what honestly new world is opened if we develop right hemisphere, intuition, or, well, creativity, of course. Right hemisphere works with images, not only visual images, but audio, all senses have images. So we can to talk about right hemisphere,
it's the creative side, isn't it? The right hemisphere, and
creativity,
the side of creation.
But
and
also, sometimes we think, for example, that telepathy. Do you have this word, telepathy? It's
telepathy. Yes.
Sometimes we think that it's close to esoteric. It's not. It's not esoteric. Everyone can have these abilities. Intuition, of course. if we develop right hemisphere, if we know how to develop it. And another interesting fact is that before 3.5, 4 years old, children have dominant spheres, right hemisphere. So it explains a lot. So kids before 3, they just cannot get all our consequences, sequences, all our logic. They acquire world differently. They acquire it everything in whole. You know, another book that I always recommend, The Whole Brain Child. Another very nice book, English author. So when we realize how much potential we can give to our child, if we when we don't understand him, but just to observe him, not to instruct all the time, not to develop not muscle of this finger, but to develop your your brain, your sensitivity. How much potential we give our child if we, when he works with his dominant right hemisphere, we give them food for right hemisphere. This is Shichida method. These are games to balance hemispheres. And another method is Russian. My yeah, I won't show all the books that I have for this. So I combined, let's say, combined the games from all over the world, from English-speaking world, from Japan, from Russia, to create my own program of games that I play. These games I play with my kids every day, and now with my husband we. Every day, almost every day, we look at our kids, at our sensitive, highly sensitive son, and we discuss how was it possible that 2, 3, 4 years ago we just didn't understand what a pearl, what a diamond we have. Yes, he is very, let's say, volcanic. He is very emotional. He is still and loud and emotional. But thanks God that he can express himself like this. Thanks God. But he's so definitely that he teaches us different ways how to look at the world, at the life. He teaches so much just to resonate. This is exactly what my games are about. They teach parents to resonate, to find one wave with their child. If several children, then with each child, each wave, its own wave. So yes, I'm in love with, honestly, with my product, with my work in general, with this theme in general. And I'm very happy that some time ago I met Therapy Institute. My friend was studying there. She is a musical teacher, and she once we visited her. She lives between Bath and Bristol. We visited her. It was when we just arrived to England, and I don't know, do you have expression in English? I was climbing the wall. I just didn't know what to do with tantrums, everyday tantrums, every 10 minutes, tantrums with a 3.5-year-old boy. I am psychologist, a speech therapist. I know so much, and I didn't know what to do with that little boy. I didn't know how to find the contact. And when we visited her, I saw his eyes. I saw how she started playing. They asked, what a magic game. You just, what is it? So easy. She didn't make anything, complicated. And she said, this is therapy, and for you it's better to go and to study rather than to take this therapy. Rather than to pay for the therapy, go and study, and it will open new horizons for you. I'm very happy that some years ago, I met that book of Elaine Aron about highly sensitive kids. Just such little, it helped to what you make with the puzzle, to set,
made it all fit.
to fit the puzzle in my head, what to do with such talented, from heart, gifted children that we don't understand sometimes. Yes. I'm emotional. Emotionally talk about this.
Yeah.
My theme I remember that pain. It was a pain in my life. And I just couldn't understand what's going on, why I don't understand. I love him with all my heart. And I couldn't understand.
So where do you think you had the breakthrough with him? I mean, it was with these games, was there anything in particular that kind of dropped into place and helped you make sense?
In my head.
Yeah.
All the processes were in my head. Well, we just, with him, it was just step by step. He started being more communicative with me, let's say, cuddly with me. He started just being more, this feeling like mother duck has several little
ducklings.
And they all follow her with pleasure. No one wants to go to that, I don't know, to catch that, what do they eat? I don't know, that grass or that little snail.
Fish. I don't know.
As a fish. No one wants to go there, it's better water there. No one wants mom to follow him. They want to follow their mom. And with Alex, it was always, with my son, it was always feeling that he wants me to follow him. So now I know that it's alpha position. Alpha position, child comes to alpha position when adult cannot place, because it cannot play, let's say play adult role, cannot become, just doesn't give a child adult energy. It's about balance between inner child, inner parent, inner adult. The whole inner family inside us that should be balanced. So all these techniques, they help to balance yourself, to balance your archetypes. So each of us have its own archetypes. It's Jungian psychology, Carl Gustav Jung. It's his theory about archetypes. I love it also very much. So all this, yin yang, you call it in English.
Yin yang, yes.
All this is about balance. So if you find your own balance, then your child follows you with pleasure. Then you don't have problems with food behavior, with even if you have disobedience, but you understand why it happens and you find words how to explain your emotions and what he feels. You just understand. And all these tantrums, crises, all these emotional moments, they become not like dead ends for relationships, like catastrophe, what to do. I don't know, there is no way out. No, they become your zones of growth. The growth, personal growth, or is it correct word, growth? growth in
Growth, yes, absolutely.
development
Or
of
you
your
might even think of
relationship.
it as a healing, I think, sometimes when you're creating, you're finding those links and that you're healing each other probably in a way.
Yes, co-regulation.
Yes.
But co-regulation is possible only when you are self-regulated. This is what these techniques helped me to realize so deeply. But first, find your own balance. Regulate yourself. Find your fun, fundamental, resource inside you, and then it's easy to co-regulate.
Sure. Yeah. I think this is one of the challenges of parenthood, isn't it? Because especially with your first child, not only is it an overwhelming experience, you have all this stuff going on in your head. Am I going to be a good enough mother? Am I doing this right? And
Yes.
there's all these external pressures as well on mothers, isn't there? And how we bring up our children, and to be honest, you've just got to forget all of that, haven't you? And like you say, find that inner balance, that inner harmony. And also you're dealing with hormones as well, let's not gloss over that. So you are out of balance. So I think any tips, that can bring us back to that place. I know I certainly went into motherhood in a very hectic kind of a way, because I felt I was 38 when I had Jamie, and I felt time was running out, and we'd had several miscarriages, and so in a sense, I wasn't in a balanced place myself. And my oldest, he is my highly sensitive one as well. And I found it hard, those first couple of years, to understand why he would just cry at a drop of a hat for no reason. You could just look at him and he'd burst into tears. When you're having that internal battle as well, am I being a good mother, bad mother? What's going on? Is it me? What,
Yes, it's very often when moms come to me and they have this feeling of guilt, feeling of inner anxiety. Are they good mothers enough? Good enough? Yes, I am good enough. Do they make so this lack of parental confidence?
Yes.
It's just goes very parallel with the high sensitivity of the kids. When you realize your inner authority, your inner parental just confidence inside yourself, you are good enough. You are the best for your children. You are the best mom ever. They don't want to choose anyone else.
Yes.
When you, after these games, this is the result, And another interesting detail, these games, they are not part of, in psychology, there is extreme play therapy. So therapy by games. So this is not, because game therapy or play therapy is always focused on the child. So we answer the request, fix my child. Something is wrong with my child, fix him. He doesn't behave. He doesn't listen. He is very aggressive. He is very rude. Whatever. He is very modest. He doesn't communicate. Whatever. Just fix him. I cannot do anything. And what I offer, the focus is not on the child, but on the relationships. So we fix relationships. And relationships, it means that at least two sides are interested in these relationships. And two sides are growing in the relationships. So we study together with our child, with our children. We don't, everything is fine with them. We just grow in our relationships. We understand better links between us. We find, I like this, again, book, another book that I like very much, 5 But I read it in Russian. 5 Languages of Love. Gary Chapman, the author. Maybe 5 love languages. I don't know what's the English because I read it in
5 languages of love, probably. I don't know, but yeah.
So to know languages of love with your child, with each child, they will be different. Like to know channels between you and your child. With every child, there are different channels. And you need to nourish your relationships, not to focus on your child and to give him everything you can. He doesn't need all of you. He needs what he needs. He has his own requirements. Do you meet them? And when we are focused on our child, we give so much, just waste, so much. He cannot see sunshine sitting in us, sitting in our stuff that we give him. We want from him a lot of projections, a lot of illusions, expectations from our child. And we need only to resonate, only to understand each other. This is the main challenge of parenting, of motherhood and fatherhood as well.
Yeah, and I think, like I say, when we're not completely healed or balanced ourselves, that we're probably projecting onto our child as well, and they're reflecting back at us. I wonder if would you share with us, Anna, some of the techniques on how we can, relate or figure out, or where we're at. I know you said there was it a test in one of the books, you said. I
can give you the link to this test.
Yes, okay, but that would be great, and we'll post that with the recording, or in the chat comments.
I will give it when we have recording. I will give it for Facebook with pleasure. So also, well, I can describe some games. They are, as simple as, I don't know, like the easiest games you can imagine. But if you understand the depth of this, some of my moms who play with me, who study with me these games, they say after the course, they say, these games, they are not about games at all. They are like meditation on relationships. Wow. This is interesting. Just magic happens because what happens in these games, you start enjoying togetherness with your child. Because let's be honest, every mom has this experience, has this feeling when child comes to you and asks to play, you don't have time. You need to do something else urgently. You need to cook, to tidy up, to work, to answer the emails. So you don't have time. And another very often answer, you don't have fantasy. Imagination is not rich enough to game, and you are it's boring to play again these trains, to play again this Lego. I cannot look already at this Lego. Please don't. All these emotions, just it comes to the emotion, I don't enjoy playing with my child. And another energy that we very often give to our children when they ask to play, we give them, go and do it in your room. Somehow we show them that it's nothing for us, it's rubbish. We need to make something important. We have work to earn money, we have to prepare lunch, dinner, to eat. We have something important, and you go and make something not important with yourself. Just enjoy yourself. Yeah, we cannot come to this atmosphere, and we cannot enjoy atmosphere of togetherness when child is asking us about this. And for the child, game, it's not only what happens in his bed, in his child bedroom. Game, it's all life around him. So cooking or hoovering or whatever we do at home, in the park, in the kitchen, in the car, in any transport, it can become a game for a child. Game, it's language of a child. So he speaks with us on his language of game. And when we refuse, when we are tired, again about resource balance, tired. When we are tired, we don't enjoy playing with our child. It's all is every puzzle is very connected with the whole system. Everything works only when we are in balance, not tired, we are fully energized, and then we can enjoy this experience of togetherness. For example, yesterday we were playing with with balls, little ones. I took the ball with soap water, and we made like with toilet paper. Well, I call it like snowball, but in Russia now it's snow.
Like toilet paper,
So,
yeah.
toilet paper, yeah, we were playing with this, just throwing these little balls from toilet paper with soap water, to the wall, to the door. Kids were excited. And we made it with the speed, who is quicker, who makes it better, more, more throws. This is very easy. You think that it's just, what a strange game. It's rubbish. It's too easy. But it has its depth, because you, with this movement, you let your aggression go. And kids, surprise, surprise, they also have hormones and adrenaline. So they they have a lot of aggression that they don't know how to let go, let it go. So all these games, well, with the blankets. Let me explain like step by step. So games have like four block. They are divided, hundreds of them. They are divided into four blocks. First is nurture, just to nourish relationships, to nourish your child. Structure. In this block, you set the borders with the child. You organize his time and space. You are the leader. Only in this block, all three others, you can follow your child. But in the block structure, you are the leader, and you need to understand how to lead, even if your child is in alpha position, even if he always wants to change the rules, always wants to stop your he wants to stop following you, and he wants you to follow him. But I give some secrets, secret information, how to let your child to enjoy, to rule his joy. First of all, if you rule his joy, he wants you to continue. Well, of course, if you feel that he's tired or he wants to change, you change first. So you don't let him rule. If you understand that he's in the mood of alpha, you are quicker than him. So such little secrets, and they give you with such tricky behavior. When child is in alpha position, it's difficult, because in alpha position, we cannot nourish our child. And in alpha position, he cannot be happy. This is interesting. Only if we set the borders, only then we give a chance to our children to be happy. Happiness depends on borders. It doesn't mean that discipline should be, metal, with metal in your voice, or cold. It's not an army. Discipline can be, rules can be created in love, in total acceptance, in warmth, and just nourished relationships, but they should be set. Without rules, child becomes disoriented and just unhappy in alpha position.
Yeah.
So in the second block, you set the borders in love, in warmth, but you do it. It means that you need to remember balance between inner child, inner parent, and inner adult. So you need this adult energy that comes from you. Third block is involvement, engagement. Just you, on the one hand, you become involved in his world. On the other hand, you involve him to your world. So if your child comes to you and asks to play games when you are, I don't know, washing, making, hoovering, or cooking, or whatever, invite him to your activity. Hoover together like a monster. Or let him play with this foam in the sink. Let him play with the peels of the tomato, potato, or carrot. Let him play with you in the kitchen, in the lounge, in the transport. Let him play. Even if you are busy with work, let's Google together. Let's find it in YouTube together. Just show or explain what you're doing, and just try to involve, engage him.
Yeah.
And the fourth, the last block, it's called challenge. So we help our children to risk with us. And these are like two sides of the coin. Your child cannot risk with you if he doesn't trust you. So these games are for trust and risk. So the easiest, now I will give you the examples of all these blocks. So the easiest games for the risk is to build the pile, like the tower with the pillows, and to ask your little one to climb on the top pillow cushion and jump to your arms. Well, for a little bit older kids, maybe it's not so interesting. Then we like to play this game with my little ones in the swimming pool. They stand on the border, I'm in the water, and they jump to me to the water. So there are different combinations and variations of these games for different ages. Another very easy game. For example, imagine that this is the how it's called, little beanbag.
Oh yeah.
Little soft toy, and you make like stairs. 1, 2. You show on yourself, like I do now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the head. Then, well, if it's a little one, if it's 2.5 years old, then just to hold her arms together with your, like a boat, and let her like throw this toy to your palms. This is game for the structure. It looks very easy. What is it? But focus on this game. just devote your time to this game, to this togetherness. Understand the depth, because everything is predictable already. Your child knows the structure. He can predict your next step, and kids enjoy this game very much. I can give a lot of examples with the foil to make like gloves with the foil. And I always recommend to play these games. First of all, play with your husband or with your mom, two adults. Make for each other these gloves from the foil. You will feel the warmth of the fingers who makes this like sort of massage. You will just feel what pressure is nice and what pressure you don't like. Just realize how your child will feel if you do it to him, and then play with your child. This creates moments of magic, this togetherness. This creates these moments when child is focused on you and you are focused on child. When you are not playing, well, nice boxes, yeah, nice. Balls, well, no, love the balls. Yeah. Most of times we play with kids, we look at him, oh, yeah, nice trains, and continue our business. But it's not a game. So the main trick, the main magic in these games is to just like to dive inside each other, to resonate, to devote this. You need 5, 10, maximum 15 minutes per day, but do it every day. And if you do this 15 minutes per day, in 1 month, your relationships will come to another level, will just be on another level.
So it's really about the quality, isn't it, rather than the quantity?
Yes.
And then, perhaps you can explain to them once you have that quality time, all right, mummy needs to just do some work for the moment. And
absolutely.
you
then
play with your trains.
Will understand you easily. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the whole art to let your child to go to his own free game. All this, what I was talking about before, all of this prepares your child to play, to enjoy his free game. Psychologists say that free game, it's like a tsar of the games. When child plays in his room, enjoy, sometimes you hear that he plays and he talks with different voices, like different heroes in his game. So he's completely in his world of imagination. So then, just well done, you got it. you have this art of letting him fly. This is how all flights start. This is how we create their wings.
Yeah.
Time of togetherness. This is what they need initially. They cannot enjoy their free game if they don't have this basement of reliable attachment with their parents, with their responsible adults, with their alpha. We are alpha for them. So it's I love this.
And it sounds as though the games are very sensory, so it's really engaging for them, which is that right brain thing that you're really talking about, isn't it? So I guess as they're developing that side, and in a sense it's allowing you to reconnect with that side, because I think, as we progress into adulthood, and really the push from the powers that be is to get us into the left brain, which is this pure logic, but we need that balance ourselves. And it sounds like, you know, it's actually a lovely opportunity for us to re-engage that side of ourselves as well.
Yes, this is what I mean. We don't focus on the child, we focus on relationships, and we are growing together.
Yes. Yeah. No, that sounds absolutely wonderful. And you know, I'm sure what we will do is we will share some of your links, Anna, that people can come and find you. And you know, if they want to know more about the heart play, the theraplay, just because we're coming up to an hour, so I do want to be wrapping this up, but I just want to get your thoughts on something, really. And if anyone's got any questions, please do drop them in the chat.
Yes, I'm happy to answer the questions. Yes, of course.
Absolutely. Because obviously we are going through a very interesting time right now. And, you know, there's a lot being put on children at this time with regards to whether it's wearing a mask, whether it's, you know, the pressures they're under at school, this whole thing of passing, you know, don't kill granny and all this kind of thing. And I just wondered if you had any thoughts around, you know, this whole situation and how we can help, you know, children, even if then, I mean, this would wound, I think, even the less sensitive children, you know, never mind our highly sensitive ones.
I would say that the only thing that we can help with is to develop our consciousness, because as a speech therapist, I can assure you that if your 2, 3, 4 years old child cannot see mimic of the teacher of the in the preschool, in the primary school, if he looks at he communicates with only upper part of the face, then his emotional intelligence, no, let's say modestly, is in danger. Because no, it's even, you know, there is polyvagal vagus. It's vagus. It's a very important nerve in nerve system.
Oh, the vagus nerve, yes. Yeah.
That links, well, brain with lungs and heart and what's the word, English word?
Kidneys? What are you going to say?
Not kidneys, or another, liver. Liver is called liver. Yeah. Can you imagine one nerve? That's why when we are, for example, emotional, our heart beating changes, or we become breathing differently in emotions. Mimic is very linked to heart. That's why, because of the work of this vagus. It's amazing nerve, and this nerve gives basement for you know mirror neurons. Again, we come to empathy, development of empathy, development of mirror neurons, development of emotional intelligence. If you're 3 years old communicates with these people in masks, he has no chance to develop proper understanding of his emotional world and to develop empathy. Honestly, I don't know who invented this way of protection with the masks for kids. I don't know who made it, and I honestly want to ask, I would love to ask them, did they, when they started, did they understand the consequences for speech development, for psychological development of children? I think they did understand. This is the whole idea, to make human beings not
human.
Not human, exactly, not competitive with artificial intelligence. Look, we come to the beginning of our conversation, but it's really serious.
Yes.
When you don't, when child cannot connect his emotions with mimic, just no words. And of course, if child has some specialities, then just pity story.
Yeah.
If it's highly sensitive child, then he needs more details about your condition to build picture. It's his requirement of his nerve system.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about kids with spectrum of autism. They just really, they don't have chance if this is their life. They honestly, no, the only advice that specialists can give to the parents, just save your child, take your child home and communicate without masks. Children need to see the emotions. This is the basement, how we give, how they inherit our heart's heritage, if not with communication. How?
Yes.
There is no way. So it's a very
it's very damaging, isn't it?
Very damaging for speech development, for this emotional intelligence development.
Yeah.
And in some countries, some moms that I communicate with, they are from Japan, for example. And in Japan, the masks are black masks in the nurseries. I won't talk now about psychology, semantics of color. And in every culture, this meaning of the color is different. So in Japan, black color has different associations with ours. But still, can you imagine? Half of the day to see black.
Yeah, we're seeing children even put into, they've got to stay the social distancing, and it's tragic. It's horrendous, and like you say, that they know what they're doing. I think they are trying to sever that link, that empathy, isn't it? To make them try and make our children less human,
to make them more subordinate.
Yes, yeah.
To algorithms, to artificial intelligence that should serve us. And it's serving. It's wonderful that we developed business algorithms. A lot of spheres depend on artificial intelligence. Thanks God, it helps us. But we shouldn't forget who we are.
Yeah.
I think that ancient people, those who painted in the caves, they knew who they were. They developed their right hemisphere. Yeah, and we should, it's funny to say, but we should develop gifts of our heart. We shouldn't forget who we are. We are human beings, and we have a lot how to compete with bright artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Robots don't have right hemisphere. Robots don't have hearts.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think, the other thing with all children really is that we communicate in energy as well. And again, these artificial intelligences, there's nothing, it's a nothingness. And children pick up on our vibe as much as anything, in fact probably more so than we might pick up ourselves.
Absolutely. We need to study how to resonate with our children. This gives them so much. So moms shouldn't be animators, drivers, or cookers. First of all, what mom gives, it's energy and resonance. This is what moms are for.
Absolutely. And that's what we want to be as well, isn't it? And I think that's why it's so painful to us when we can't relate or resonate, and we're like, I love you so much, but I don't understand what's going on with you. And if we can find those ways where we can meet them and actually ourselves as well, you know, say, I think there's a healing that's going on.
Yes.
For ourselves. And we've got a comment, Anna. It says, hi, Anna. This is from Dan. Thank you for all this information. It's brilliant. I was wondering if you have any techniques for me not letting my stress during this time rub off on my daughter. Oh, Kirsty, sorry, you're obviously you're using Dan's account, but you're Kirsty.
How not to scream at your children. Yeah.
I think what she's saying is that at present time, obviously, we are feeling very anxious because we see beyond, you know, we know what's going on in the world. We're worried about this tyranny that's creeping in, that kind of thing. And obviously that creates angst inside of us. And you're saying for not letting that stress
it's not even about
off.
Screaming. Kirsty, thank you for your question. Could you describe the situation? What do you mean? You go in, like you become frozen. What is your reaction? Or you become too aggressive because of the stress? How your emotions, just how you express yourself in front of your children? Because sometimes, and both reactions are like natural for nerve system. Sometimes we how you call it, fight and flight in English, you say.
Fight or flight, the adrenaline, isn't it?
Yes, adrenaline, aggressive reaction, or you become frozen. You go inside yourself to the gadgets, to the whatever, to just ignoring emotions of others. There are so many reactions on the stress. Sometimes we ignore. Sometimes we become angry and very easily, very quickly irritated. Sometimes we become anxious. We feel ashamed. We feel, what did I make wrong another time? How could I avoid this situation? What did I wrong? I am not a good mother. Sometimes this reaction. Sometimes reactions can be even more different. Sometimes we feel offended from someone, like for example, if we see how our child will look at his meltdown, and we think, oh, how you dare to scream in front of me? I am your mother, and you dare to open your mouth, your little mouth. We feel just like injured. So all these are family scenarios, I call it. All these are scenarios that boil inside us since childhood.
Yeah, she has embellished now. She said just the background stress from the current situations in the world. And she's worried that her anxiety will be picked up by her daughter. I mean, I think that's more of an internal management.
More tense,
I think,
not as present.
Yeah, I think it's a case of finding something that works for you first. I mean, you were talking about the vagus nerve, Anna, and of course, breathing exercises are a very good way of releasing tension. I mean, I don't know if you have any other suggestions or you want to speak more to that.
Breathing practices, it's a wonderful suggestion. I would say there are techniques that I will find English words, help you to become more grounded, to enjoy, being, being in the here and now feeling. For example, do you know what when I am anxious or stressed, I take mandalas, just book with mandalas, and I start painting mandalas. And another very good technique to balance your hemispheres, because adult people also need to balance hemispheres. I paint mandalas with my both hands.
Oh,
You won't believe how quickly it helps. 10 minutes, but focusing on this, on your process, and you feel reset, let's say in English. Yes, reset.
yeah, reset. Yeah.
Breathing techniques are very good. Also, if you like art therapy, it's not only about painting. It's also dancing, but let's say therapeutic dance. Sometimes it's with, belly dance. Sometimes it's Black Sabbath. Absolutely different. can be different movements or dances, dance or singing. Very important, our fifth chakra, just to develop your throat energy, to express yourself with this. And well, I think if you enjoy breathing techniques, you will come to breathing with your chakras. This also is very well for me. This is very nourishing.
Perhaps you've got some YouTube links that we could share after this, Anna.
Yes,
or if you,
absolutely.
that might be the best, because I know breathing, you kind of have to go into it, don't you? But it's easier to, like, I follow Wim Hof, and he's got a very good 10-minute video, yes, and that kind of thing. I just want
to with showers, cold temperatures, difference in temperatures also. This is a genius technique to help your body. Yeah, it's a level of your body. We are all talking about level of emotions, or this is body, or your veins, how they open and
yeah.
I already forget English words.
Close.
Yes. So the contrast showers, hot shower, cold shower. This what helps when we are stressed.
And again, that's a sensory thing, isn't it? It's getting us back into our body.
Yes.
I mean, my go-to is literally stepping outside my back door, whatever the weather, and just closing my eyes, and just literally, you can do this 10 seconds and you just notice, you just drop into your body, you just notice the sensations. Is it cold? Can I feel a breeze? The wet, and just breathe through it as well. Breathe, and it is such a simple reset, and take as long as you need. If you feel like it, take your shoes off and walk on the grass. You might not always want to if it's in the middle of winter, but that's another option as well. But just being with nature, go and put your hand on a tree or feel a leaf of a plant, and it's that connection to nature as well. But it's sensory. It's actually, you could, I mean, if it came to it, you could pick up a pen and you could just say, and just touch it, feel it, and just notice how it feels. And it's that mindfulness, isn't it? It's literally just taking yourself out of your head and dropping into your body.
Very good word, mindfulness. Yes, yeah. This is what it balance, mindfulness. Yes, consciousness. This is what I wanted to say by consciousness, mindfulness. Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. And Kirsty said that's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think this is a perfect moment just to wrap up. We've been on for over an hour now, and I just want to say thank you, Anna. And I know that it's a little bit more challenging for you because English is obviously not your first language, and I think you've done wonderful, explaining yourself and getting your message across, and I just want to say thank you for your time and for coming on with me and sharing your heart.
It's a pleasure. My pleasure. I hope my accent was comprehensible.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was.
Thank you.
And
for
yes, No, you're welcome. And we will be sharing obviously all of Anna's links and everything we've talked about. We'll find a couple of videos on the breathing techniques we've discussed, and you know, we'll put it all together in one place for you after this call. It might be tomorrow, but it will be at some point. And we've got Michelle and Sarah both saying thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope to stay in touch with all of you, and if there will be further questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Let's continue in the comments.
Absolutely. Anna's in the group, so please do ask any questions moving forward, and look forward to hearing more from you, more contributions, and yeah. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.